entertaining, but yeah.
You know what? If you don't have the courage to sit here and then ask your question, you're just showing your moral cowardice. I'm happy to entertain any questions you want to ask. But if you want to debate, I can do this all night long. You want to keep jumping up and yelling, you're the 99%? How presumptuous and arrogant can you think you are? Nobody appointed you. Now, I'm happy to answer your questions. But if you don't want to ask them, go ahead and keep making fools of yourself. But if you want to ask a question, then be quiet. I'll have my speak. You can stand up and have your say. We'll go at it hand to hand. You want to do that? I'm happy to do it. But until then, have respect for the Constitution that you claim that you live under. Have respect for the right that you claim for yourself and that you will not extend to others. You know what? I'm happy to have you stand up and say that. But until then, stop acting like a fascist and start acting like an American. Now we're going to go back to the speech.
Don't go back yet.
Now we're going back to the
Let the security people take them out first, buddy.
Regardless of your political beliefs, students are here to hear Mr. Rove speak. You are not only disrespecting Mr. Rove, you are disrespecting us and the rest of the student body. Please shut up and get out if you don't want to hear him and you don't have the courage to ask the question. That's it.
You keep interrupting, it's going to take longer to get there. You want to get there, let me have my speech. But how arrogant is a war
Seriously,
yeah,
you don't care.
Voted upon by the United States Congress, including Hillary Clinton and John Edwards, and John Kerry, and Bob Graham, and a casual Harry Reid. Now we're going to finish the speech first. And it's going to take as long as you want to get there. Now when I was so rudely interrupted, I was talking about spending and deficits. And we have done nothing in the last 3 years to confront the biggest spending problem we have, which is an entitlement problem that will sink the country. We have Medicare, which is going to start to go broke in 2021. The hospital insurance portion of Medicare goes broke. Social Security goes bankrupt in 2036. And under the law, benefits will be cut to American seniors overnight by nearly a third. And we've done nothing in the last 3 years to confront this entitlement issue. And without confronting it, it's the guy with the funny looking hat right there, that's the one. I think you'll now be quiet, because I think you might be a little intimidated by you. Yeah. Now we now have the President respond to this by suggesting that we don't have a spending problem, but that we got a taxing problem. That we're not taxing people their fair share. It's a legitimate question to raise, but my answer would be this. What's the fair share? The top 1% of wage earners in the country, the top 1% of filers, pay 38% of the federal income taxes. The top 5% pay 59% of the federal income taxes. The top 10% pay 70% of all the income taxes received by the federal government. The top 25% of filers pay 86% of all the federal income taxes received by the government. The top 50% of filers pay 97% of all of it. And the bottom 50 pay 3%. What's the fair share? It strikes me that if you tax the top 25% and get 86% of the money, we have a tax system that is progressive and taxes people at the top far more heavily than it taxes people at the bottom. And remember this, 2/3 of the people at the top are not really people, they're small businesses filing on the individual line. Now look, I believe that there ought to be a limit to how much the government can take from anybody. Because if the government can take it from somebody, it can take it from everybody. And we've seen it in the past with top rates as high as 70% falling down into the bottom covering 2/3 of the American filers. And that brings us to the issue of health care. The President passed the Affordable Care Act in 2009, it should be 2010. Despite the fact that he ran television ads in 2008, in which he had said, quote, government-run health care extreme, end quote. Probably didn't see that in Maryland because it wasn't a battleground state, but if you lived in a battleground state, it was the second most widely shown ad of the entire Obama campaign. And yet this bill, which was unpopular at the moment of its passage,